Welcome back, everyone, to Awesome Games Done Quick 2016, powered by Twitch. We are just about to start our Castlevania block, starting with Castlevania 1, Whip Only, played by kmac. While we wait, let's clean up with some donations. We have $10 from Abby R. My dad passed away with cancer 3.5 years ago, and I now try to help in any way I can. Thank you for doing such a good deed in a very cool way. $10 from Hristomir. I didn't hear any Bulgarians donating, so cheers from Bulgaria. Keep it up, peeps. $15 from an anonymous donor. I've had several family members fighting cancer, one not so successful. Hopefully there will be better treatments in the future. Game on. $10 from Proto. Hail from Brazil. I watched my favorite aunt pass away from breast cancer and my GF lose sensibility in her legs due to a tumor in her spine. Here's for nobody ever having to go through this again. Donation goes to the person closest to the exit door choice. And $15 from Umbratile62, donating in the memory of my uncle, a wonderful handball coach who passed due to leukemia affected hundreds of people. My money goes to the Glitch Showcase for Paper Mario, a game I love so much I'm willing to get up at 5:30 a.m. on a day off to watch.
I was surprised about that.
Oh, people can hear us now.
They can.
Yeah, they can.
Will wonders never cease?
No.
I can very faintly hear Castlevania sound effects.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Yeah, this is going to be a whip-only run. Simon does not need sub-weapons this time, so... Okay, and I'll let you know when time starts. And go. Yeah, normally he gets, you have a ton of sub-weapons to go through, but this time, like I said, it is whip only, so we're going to see some different strats than we've seen previously from the years before.
One of the key differences you'll notice in Whip Only is for a lot of the bosses, you stun lock using Holy Water, but in this case, that's not an option. So we'll definitely see some creative strats, to say the least, here.
No stopwatch.
Yeah, if he gets lucky and gets a stopwatch drop off one of those zombies, he can get this boost he's about to do here faster, because he can freeze the first bath that spawns and then get to it in time.
Sometimes you can freeze him and then he still don't get it.
So I believe it's frame perfect, too.
Oh.
There we go.
There we go. Nice boost.
You didn't last year.
You'll notice many times throughout this run, he's going to be using that knockback feature to clip through things or get an extra boost to go over things he wouldn't normally be able to go over. He just skipped the entire water section at the bottom of this stage.
There's a water section down there?
Yeah.
There's some mermen that are jerks too.
He's going for a frame perfect glitch called the critical hit glitch here. If he hits the bat in the same frame that it hits him, it bugs out his whip's hitbox and makes it take a bunch of extra damage. Saves a couple seconds on the fight every time he gets it.
Yeah, you can do it on all the bosses, but this is the only boss that will one-shot.
Yeah, the task for this game does that on every boss. It's really it's that thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting task for sure. Yeah, damage boosting is like the best way to get through this game. Even playing this game casually, it's very difficult, but you know, from a speedrun perspective, I really think playing this game in a speedrun is a lot easier than casually.
Yeah.
Yeah, magic item for sure. Boom.
Right there. That's one of the damage boosts that we were talking about earlier. Very nice, kmac.
Yeah, there's a whole section over there with platforms and little knights, and you know, we still don't think it
But
exists.
it's really slow, so we skip it.
Yeah.
One more. There it is.
Yeah.
Saves a little bit of time having to walk up that staircase over there.
The usual strat on this boss is obviously holy water was introduced into the any percent route, but no holy water. And just whip it good.
Nice rosary drop.
Well done, Taco Cat. Oh yes, fun stage. Everybody loves the music.
Birds are jerks.
Indeed.
Flea men are also jerks.
And wall chicken.
Here comes another damage boost. And he gets it. Very nice.
Yeah, every stage has at least one damage boost.
That one tried.
Nice. That section's a lot more difficult than what he just made that look.
Indeed, even if you have sub-weapons, too, it's pretty hard.
Key reset point.
So I'm sure anybody that's played classic Castlevania games has lots of fond memories of getting knocked into pits by flying enemies.
The bird did not like the backward swag.
Now this is an interesting part of the stage because normally, again, we'd use holy water to stun these enemies and just jump over the pillar of bones, but that's not an option here, so we have to stop a little more.
Yeah, now the swag. Oh.
Ooh, nice. Totally planned.
Potion was very effective.
So in any percent, this next boss is pretty trivial because you can use a glitch with the cross to one-shot the bummies, but, well, now we get a real fight.
Well, kind of.
Kind of. Well, okay. Maybe
You get
not.
this.
Yeah.
We get a little cheese still. He's alright, 2 more hits.
Very nice.
Now, from this point forward in the run, everything he takes damage from will be 4 health, so 4 hits.
Nope, not
Oh,
quite.
really?
In the-
the
in
upper
the-
section.
In the
Okay, just scratch that. I don't know what I'm talking about.
it's not until he gets into the room with the bone pillars.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the bones
Yeah.
dragons.
My brain doesn't work sometimes.
Unfortunately, you can't go for the being able to walk on top of the ceiling here. That requires the stopwatch to be able to do.
Yeah. Having to do the first 4 stages with short whip only would make it pretty difficult, too. 'Cause that's also part of the setup for the ceiling clip.
Now this part isn't as bad because normally he would have a sub-weapon set up and he would have to avoid drops here. Drops are actually quite a pain, but since we don't use sub-weapons here, this room isn't as big of a deal.
Yeah, because these enemies can randomly drop axes. Instead, they're giving him lots of hearts and a rosy and a potion. All the good kinds of drops.
Now this next boss is going to be interesting because, again, we normally use holy water to stun Frankenstein's monster, but instead here we're going to have him and Igor, his sidekick, kind of just going all over the place. So we'll see how he handles the whip strats because he's going to have multiple things to dodge here. Nice.
Nice.
Nice fight.
Yes.
Is that a crit?
I didn't see a crit.
Almost looked like it.
I mean, anyone who hasn't played this game, I mean, just that smooth of jumping and dodging and stuff is not easy at all. Just because your jumps are totally committal in this game, you can't wiggle around in midair.
Yeah, Igor's the true boss of that. Frankenstein's just there.
Alright, nice boost.
Not so nice boost.
Oh,
Wow, Skeleton putting in work this morning.
Yeah, there is some meat coming up fairly soon if you can make it.
Unfortunately, this means he can't take this boost right here.
dim bones.
Now, since he has the long whip, he actually doesn't want to be picking up hearts at this point because there's a countdown at the end of every stage that takes time to actually count all the way down. So the more hearts he gets, the Low percent, anyone?
Yeah, in a normal any percent run, you'd be able to just burn your extra hearts with sub weapons after you've killed the boss. But since he doesn't have any hearts he has, just cost time on the countdown.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh. These skeletons are just in the worst spots. As I was mentioning about hearts earlier, they do count down at the end of the stage. However, you need 8 hearts minimum to be able to pick up the long chain whip. So he is going to have to get his count back up here just so we can pick that back up.
Another potion.
I have an easy time forgetting that those are even in this game with just how few of them there are in candles.
Now that we got that out of the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy's on lunch break now.
He'll be back. See ya.
Again, that's just another room that's easier when you can stun lock the axe armors.
Yeah, those guys are pretty nasty, the Axe Knights. Thankfully, up above here, we got some more wall chicken. Yummy.
And he's going to want it because this hallway up those stairs is absolutely brutal without sub-weapons.
It's legendary.
It's the worst room in the game by far.
There are ways to get through
Yeah,
it with
there's a
just the whips.
pretty consistent route through it if you have access to holy water, but he doesn't.
Nom, 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 nom.
And as if this room wasn't enough, normally, again, can stun lock death, no problem, but in this run we can't, so now we're going to have to deal with projectiles.
Alright, good luck. Nice!
Yes.
The size,
That is a very swag pose.
yeah.
There.
The size are very, very random. But he did that about as good as you could without a sub weapon. Because he's kmac.
Now this room isn't too bad. Normally the bats are kind of a pain when you try to jump, but if you hit the bats with the whip, they kind of just stand there for a second. That gives you enough time to run past them.
They're trying with these fireballs.
Yeah. These patterns.
Is the last one going to do it? Nah.
Aw.
I think
Nice one.
every bat threw a fireball except for the last one.
I usually only see like 2 at most when I've seen runs.
Potions and fireballs, oh my.
Nice damage boost.
Stairs, please.
Oh.
Everyone knows the stairs are the real boss in this game.
Hey,
Well-
why not?
In any percent, you'd be using the stopwatch to make this section a lot easier.
Huh, I didn't even know there was a double shot there.
Yeah. It's impossible to get unless you jump into it, but yeah. Oh. Simon, it ain't that bad.
He did that to get a free refill on his health.
Yeah, that critical hit glitch he went for on the first boss works on
Right there.
Oh, nice, kmac.
Nice. So he hit Drax's head on the same frame that he took damage, and that bugged out his whip's hitbox and made it do a bunch of extra damage to him.
Usually this is very trivial, but a little manipulation like this. You duck down, he will jump up really high.
Wow.
Ooh.
Normally you can stun lock Cookie Monster Drac with holy water, but
Nice fights.
Very nice.
And get ready for time.
Time.
Now he does it again blindfolded, right?
Second loop even.
yeah. Second loop, leather whip only.
Yes, great in-game credits.
Shoutouts to Christopher B.
Yes. Cool. And Trans Fishers, Vrans Stoker, James Banana. Yes, definitely. And of course, Christopher B, as was mentioned. Yep.
I guess these were the voice actors.
Yes. Bello Lugosi, Boris Karloffis, Love Cheney Jr., Barbara Sherry. She played Medusa, if you didn't notice. Yes.
I know, I love it.
Love Cheney. Green Stranger. Yes, Cafe Bar Red. Andre Morel, Joan Candies, and the hero Simon Belmondo. Nope, got nothing on Ralph.
Ralph
Yep.
C. Belmondo.
Which Ralph we will be seeing shortly, because CV3 is coming up. Stay tuned for that. That's it.
Thank you again, kmac, for that wonderful Castlevania 1 run. As mentioned, coming up next is a race of Castlevania 3 by Ohon and Ion. But before we do that, let's go to a quick commercial break. Welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2016, raising money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. coming up is a race of Castlevania 3 as part of our Castlevania block this morning. While we set up, let's go through some donations. $100 from Grand Legion 75. Every night is a horrible night to have the curse of cancer. Let's help the morning sun to vanquish it. $10 from the enemy who took a lunch break. Hey runners, sorry for leaving. I got hungry, but then decided to donate my lunch money to fighting cancer instead. What a swell guy. $100 from Samurai CCJ. You did the thing.
And that was whip only. So,
Yeah.
kmac, tell me, in whip only, what's the biggest difference in that run for you as a runner?
It's mostly just not having to use the sub weapon, obviously. Like it's a little bit of a reroute, not too much, but the boss fights are extremely harder than it would be. As in any percent, the boss fights are pretty trivial. As you know, with Death and Frankenstein, you just stun lock them and whip them to death. But
Right.
this, you need a little bit of movement and skill to actually defeat Frankenstein and Death. That's probably the hardest part, are those two boss fights.
Yeah, death seemed like one of the harder ones. I seem to remember whip only death being a challenge that people
Right.
had used in the past. I mean, do you have to do a lot of improvising? Is this pattern pretty
No,
much fixed?
it's pattern. You can manipulate him by standing on the far edges of the middle platform there. So he just keeps rainbowing essentially back and forth over you. And the scythes are manipulable by just in standing in a certain spot, they'll start to come down and just move them. So it was an easy fight. It was very difficult to get it down to where you'd be able to recognize the pattern that you're receiving. True False put a lot of work into this, and he's the one who's really responsible for getting that fight down to where it is. It's relatively consistent, honestly, for Death, who's arguably one of the hardest bosses in NES game history. But
Right.
he's very manipulable. It just takes time and effort and recognizing patterns. And
Okay. And it's probably a lot more dangerous, this run, as far as
Yeah.
marathon safety?
slightly, slightly.
Okay. So what would you say was the hardest part of the run for you? Just those bosses, or were there other things like certain boosts or enemies that you have to deal with differently?
Hardest part of the run is really stage 3, because there's a lot of stuff. I did a lot of safe strats in that run as far as whipping bone pillars. Like most of those times I would just jump over them and continue to barrel through, but not in a marathon setting. I didn't want to die. And then, as you saw in stage 5, it was a little hairy.
Yep.
Just a little bit.
I can imagine. So you also run Castlevania 3, and you have or have had records in all the categories for Castlevanias 1 and 3? Is that
Yeah,
true?
at one point, yes, I had all any percent in all 3 NES versions or US versions of Castlevania. So this upcoming run is going to be fantastic. Alucard is very technical, and in the US version, you do a lot of switching back to Trevor to do the boss fights. In this run, they're going to be using Alucard for just about every boss fight except for Dracula and the Stage 7 trio, the 3-stage boss, the Leviathan, Mummies, and Cyclops. But those are the only 2 that's going to use Trevor after they get Alucard. And it's very impressive because it's a lot of using iframes and taking damage from a lesser damaging object to fight and just pummel the boss. But
Okay. So which are the categories do you still have records in Castlevania 3?
in CV3, all of them except for the one these guys
Except
are
for
doing.
the one you're doing. Okay. All right. Any plans to get that one back?
Nope. It's fun to watch.
Okay. You're
I'll
just
put
gonna
it
let
that way.
one. You're just gonna let it go.
Yep, we'll let that one go.
Okay. How did you get into speedrunning? Was Castlevania your first, or 3 Castlevania your first?
How did I get into speedrunning? I really enjoy piano music, and I really enjoyed Castlevania music, so I YouTubed Castlevania piano, and the first thing that came up was Funk Doc's 2012 AGDQ run with Koreshi doing the piano. And it just grew from there. I started watching more speedruns. I caught all the AGDQ runs, started following Funk Doc, and like, I think I can do this. I really enjoyed playing the game, and started playing the game, and like, oh, I guess I'm pretty good at this.
Did you start with 1 or 3?
1.
1?
I learned speedrun CV1 on emulator using a keyboard as the inputs, yeah.
Okay. And one last question. This is going to be kind of a tough one, but if you found meat hiding inside a wall, would you eat it?
Probably not.
No, you wouldn't?
No. It's probably not a good choice. You might get food poisoning.
That's true. Okay, well, that's good. That's smart.
But in Castlevania, it gives you more health, so.
You don't have a lot of choices in Castlevania. Sometimes you got to eat the wall meat.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat rotten meat, no.
Okay, well, thanks very much for
Thank
talking
you.
with us. Thank you. And stay tuned for our next game. This is Ion Gregory.
Thank you, Fiesel. And thank you, kmac.